Welcome to the good, the bad, and the sequel with your hosts, Doug and Jamie.
We are back, and this is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Last week, we had the great opportunity to interview Tiny Lister, who plays, you know him as Debo in the Friday franchise, Zeus going toe-to-toe in Hulk Hogan, and over 200 other movies. So you see him. He's really scary, and he'll take your bike. But before we dive into this week's sequel, I have to introduce you to my partner on the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. And we're on a pretty good hot streak. And it's not like we pick and choose. It's like the people that get back to us, those are the movies that we cover. And I think we're on a little bit of a run right now.
We are, and I'm glad because these are movies that I haven't seen in a long time, and it's nice to refresh, some of my youth. Rewatching them again.
Yeah, it's going to change pretty quick for a little while, but yeah. So obviously, I mentioned we talked to Debo. So Tiny Lister, he's done a ton of stuff, but one sequel that really stood out that I loved and Jamie enjoyed. I don't know if the rewatch 19 years later, but so we watched Next Friday, Ice Cube movie. God.
All right. So I did watch Friday first, and then I watched Next Friday.
All right.
I absolutely love the first Friday. Chris Tucker to me is obviously anything he does is great. Next Friday was good. It was funny. It was enjoyable. I think the first one is much better, and we'll get into it. But it was definitely enjoyable. I don't remember a lot of it, so this was definitely some of it was an eye opener.
Yeah, and I love the way the movie started. It was almost like it seemed like it was Ice Cube and maybe the other writer, DJ Pooh.
Yeah, never heard of DJ Pooh, but that was interesting. Well, it's also, and I don't know if it's a real thing or just for the movie, Cube Vision.
Maybe that's the name of his production company.
Is that his production company? I never heard of it. That's
So they're sitting there getting high. There's smoke going in the air. And I love when they're commenting on the director in the credits. So I pulled up the director because his name's Steve Carr.
Yep.
This guy, you ready for this? So he started off working with like big name rappers doing music videos. Rapper's Delight, Redman, Keith Murray, Eric Sermon. Then he did Can I Get Up for Jay-Z, Hard Knock Life, Jay-Z. And then he does Next Friday, Dr. Dolittle 2. But his first ever job, which I don't know how he went from that to this realm.
We're talking about the director, right?
The director, yeah.
Okay.
His first ever music video he did, Hall & Oates. How did they look at his resume? They're like, all right, so you worked with Hall, and Oates. And then he just goes into this, into the rap genre. He did Are We Done Yet?
His first one was Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates, Promising Enough in 97. I didn't even know they were still making music in 97.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so I had to look that up when I saw the director's name and they were like, man, Steve Carr. And then the smoke blew away. And I'm like, oh yeah, check them out.
Yeah, the beginning, without even seeing any of the movie, had a Cheech and Chong feel to it.
Yeah.
Just like the commentary, just seeing smoke. Like you didn't see any actors, you just saw the smoke going, and like the giggling in the background and the talking. So I'm like, all right, I can see where this movie's going.
Yeah, and I like the way it started because there was a gap. I don't know. I feel like the first one came out in 95.
I don't know, but it was a 4-year gap, I think, between movies because he said that Debo was going to jail for 4 years.
Oh, true. Okay,
but he did escape, so I don't know how out of those 4 years, I don't know how long he was in there for.
Yeah. But they make it seem like it's pretty soon after the first one in reality, just the way they talk about things. But I love the flashback in the beginning.
Yeah.
So if somebody, for some reason, saw Next Friday without seeing Friday, they saw the Craig knocking out Debo scene. And pretty much right away, after John Witherspoon, who plays the dad in the movie, is talking about, that he went away for 4 years. And then immediately Debo's breaking out of prison. Like within the first minute of the movie.
Yeah, and not only that, he's still running in his uniform and he's shackled to the other guy, right? Isn't he shackled somehow?
Yeah.
Like, so like no one sees this as bizarre. Like he's just running in like in the middle of a town.
Maybe it was like Halloween or something. Maybe they can get away with it. But I love John Witherspoon. Like I wish he was my dad because he's so great in these movies and like the Wayans Brothers show. I love when Craig's in the bathroom. I wrote it down. He said, "Craig, let's get moving and get off your feet. Ain't no time to beat your meat." And then he goes outside and he's a dog catcher. That's his job. He looks around. He talks about everybody has nicer grass than he is. And then he just fell. He lost his balance.
Well, he slipped, I think, on the dog crap. Well, so
Fell in the dog crap.
Yeah, but he might have slipped on it and then fell in it. Like, he probably stepped in it, slipped on it, and then fell right on top of it. But, okay, so you mentioned two things I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So, one, a dog catcher. Is there such thing as a dog catcher? I mean, the only other place I've seen it was like Lady and the Tramp. Like, I've never seen a dog catcher ever.
No.
So I don't know if it was a real job. Like, are there that many loose dogs in town that they need someone to, round them up?
Maybe in Compton. Maybe there's loose dog. And I love that it was a Chihuahua, right?
Yes, it was a Chihuahua.
Their poops aren't that big. What the poop that he fell in was like a large fat man's poop.
So yeah, I wrote that down. I own a miniature pincher, kind of small dog. He makes little turds. That was a massive dump that dog did. Yeah, that was massive. But I think he slipped on it and then fell on it and then wore it the rest of the movie.
I didn't realize it.
But, I think it's very fitting for him because my other question about him is he has a massive stomach issue. I mean, the guy is in the bathroom, both movies, taking dumps, both movies, multiple times. It's not like he's going there once. He goes so much that he carries his own spray around.
When he has the one in the car and Craig's like begging him he goes, "Man, what's wrong with this window?" He's like, "Oh, remind me to fix the window. Just spray it." And he's like spraying this in like they're like hot boxing it.
And when we've all have sprays in the bathroom. Do you spray the way he does? He like sprays the whole room. Like he's like spray, like it's like spray paint. He's like spray painting the whole room. The guy's nuts. Like, but he has a stomach issue. Without a doubt, that he should get that checked. It'd
be great to see the behind the scenes on that. Like when they filmed that scene, so I'm sure in the script it's like spray, aerosol, air freshener, and he just like the comedy because he's a comedian too. But
yeah. One more about his bathroom habits.
Sure.
I don't know which number it was that when he went. I mean, obviously it was number 2, but I mean, which time he went to the bathroom? The plops that you heard. Did you hear like the plopping every single time he's talking to him? Craig's holding his nose, and every 5 seconds you hear another, going in the water. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, he needs to get checked out. So then he's going to his Uncle Elroy's house with his cousin Day, so he can get away because his dad scared Debo. Now, do they already know Debo's out, or they're just
no? They know. I think. See, that's why I think it might have been 4 years later because they knew he was coming out in 4 years.
Then why the hell did he break out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe to do it like the week before. He's like, you know what? I've been in here for 4 years. I only want to be here 3 years and 51 weeks.
You know what? That I didn't think about that. So because they didn't make any mention that he's out. So I don't think they knew until the car almost ran him over. Right? That was in the beginning. So yeah, you know what? That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. So anyway, so I totally skipped over that. So then they broke out, they stole a bike, and they're riding the bike, and then they see, first of all, Debo, who's awesome. He was so cool to talk to. He makes the little guy run. He makes Tyrone run while he uses the bike. And again, like you said, they're chained up together, so he has to catch up. So he's like, carry him like a dog on a leash.
Yeah, he's a big thug and everything else. He doesn't know how to steal a car. Like, what is it with him and bikes? I mean, the whole movie in the first one, he's riding and it's not even like a big bike. They're small bikes. I guess any bike with him is gonna be a small bike anyway. But like, what is it with him with bikes? He's
but give him props because he took a bike that doesn't squeak.
He did, but he also wasn't it owned by a little kid that he punched and knocked him down?
It kind of looked like a little. I couldn't tell. You're like a teenager. He was like a heavyset kid near the train. But yeah, so then they stand in front of the car. He's like, "Craig, get out of the car!" And then John Witherspoon, he just runs him over pretty much. And then that's where the chain breaks off.
Yep.
from that. So, okay, so then we see Uncle Elroy and we meet Mike Epps, who's the cousin Day Day. And he's pretty funny in this movie. I love Chris Tucker. Can't take it away. He was great as Smokey, but it was cool to see somebody else in that other role.
No, it was, and he was funny. I mean, he was such a wimp. In the whole movie, he was funny. I mean, they had some good characters. I mean, I absolutely love the Spanish guy. I mean, to me, he makes the movie. Like, I think just his lines. We'll get there. But yes, Epps did a good job. For what it was funny. The uncle, I had a hard time understanding him. I have to be honest. I don't know if that's how he really talks or if that's just the voice he decided to give to the role. I don't know, but he was kind of weird.
Yeah, I watched it on closed captioning. I watch most stuff on that now. It makes it so much easier because there's some things that you can barely hear that I wrote down that maybe you didn't catch because honestly I couldn't even hear it.
Right.
For some reason it picks up. I don't know why these movies have put these little jokes in that only people that it's kind of weird. But so how ugly is that house?
Extremely. Was it purple? Was it purple shutters or something? Or
it was like 50 Shades of Purple. It looked like the Joker owned that house, foreclosed on it, and then he said they paid $230,000 for it. I'm guessing that's a nice neighborhood, and I know it's the year 2000, but God, that's cheap.
Well, and I mean, all the other houses on the block look really nice, and they looked like real houses.
Yeah.
What builder decided to put a purple house next to all these other houses that look really nice?
You ready for this flashback? It was probably Jackie Mason in Caddyshack 2. He was like, you know what? I want to look at my suit. I want to have my suit.
Well, wait a second. That was your Jackie Mason?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you, you are improving each week. I mean, that is awesome. It's amazing.
Nice. So then you mentioned Joker and Baby Joker and Little Joker, and Joker is the small one. Baby Joker is the fat one. Little Joker is really strong, muscular.
I was kind of confused of who, because they don't really tell. They're all the same. Like the names, I couldn't figure out who was Joker what. But he's obviously the leader, the smallest guy. If he's not a stereotypical, first of all, this movie does so many stereotypical things, on every stereotype. I mean, from Asians to Spanish to Indian to black. I mean, they hit every turn. And Joker, first of all, the hat alone.
I know.
It was pulled over his eyes, so he couldn't even see, But his lines were hysterical.
He will be, again, Tiny told me last week, they will be in Last Friday.
They are coming back.
Yeah. I think literally they're taking everyone from all the movies and bringing them back. And you mentioned stereotypes. The Asian the Asian neighbor, I just bought a house in the neighborhood. I want a neighbor like that. She was so cool.
She was amazing. She was absolutely, I mean, the way she talked, I mean, I think she's throwing in the extra Asian, Asianese to her language, but she was amazing. She was so funny. For a small little scene, she was great.
I love when she was like, give me some skin, Craig.
And then she ignores Epps.
Yeah. So here's one of the ones that I maybe picked up. I don't know if you heard it. So when they go into the house and Day Day asks his dad, where's my work shirt? And he said, oh, the pink shirt? Son, we run out of toilet paper. Sorry. I told you not to leave anything in the bathroom. It was so low. I even rewound it, turned it up. You could barely hear it, even like a full blast. But yeah, it was like when he came in, he's like, Dad, where's my shirt? And then Craig's just looking around at photos. And then I'm reading this on the bottom. I'm like, where's that coming from?
Yeah, I didn't hear that at all. So yeah, that's weird. Again, and he spoke, I don't was he speaking fast or he was speaking some way. It was hard to understand the uncle. It was very hard.
Or again, this I'm not going to add this to my repertoire. He's like, hey, I'm your uncle. I don't know why he did that, but and how about his girlfriend?
Well, was he remarried or that was his girlfriend? No,
I don't know. They didn't say that that's my wife.
She reminded me of Jack Kay. Remember Jack Kay?
Yeah, well, I think she's not.
She's not Jack. No, that's not Jack. But she had the same personality, the same. She's been in a few things. I mean, I've definitely seen her before.
She was on the Curb Your Enthusiasm when he went to the
hooker.
Yeah, the prostitute that got the dad high.
Wait, was she the one that was in the lane that they took?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
in the carpool lane.
No, listen, she was a wackadoo as well, and but she was great. I mean, she's obviously in it for the money, but so they won $1 million. Is that what it was? $1 million?
Yeah.
Okay. They're acting like they're living the life like $1 million after buying a house and a BMW. How much money are you gonna have left?
No, I know. They even said it. Lawyer fees, like there wasn't really much.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, why would they? Yeah, that made no sense. But you know what? Here's one of the creepy things she said. She said, "Ooh, you look even cuter than in your baby pictures."
Was that creepier that she said, "Let's keep it in the family. We could keep it in the family"?
Oh, that was pretty creepy too. Right afterwards, and then when she walked upstairs, she like licked her lips. And
Well, I mean, we'll get to it later on when we see what's involved in their room. I think the whole creepy. Yeah. So I think it all fits.
Yeah. So then right after that, we meet Day's like ex-girlfriend who's pregnant. She's keying the crap out of his BMW, which he loves. Now, I wrote this down because I want to ask you, did you ever have any crazy girlfriends when you were younger?
I did not. Did not. Did you?
I had one that she scared me so much. This is like when I was 19. When one time she slept over after I knew she was kind of crazy. I don't know why I hung out with her again. And when she went to the bathroom, I checked her purse because I thought there was going to be a knife in there. That's how crazy she was. And one time she tried to run me over with her car.
Is that frowned
wasn't
upon?
Close. It was very frowned upon.
Well,
go behind a tree.
How long were you dating her for?
Oh, like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Then
it wasn't
okay.
It wasn't anything like that, but
right.
It's even crazier. I can understand we dated like for a long time. We like had like a messy breakup. It was just like, yeah.
Well, listen, there are definitely crazy chicks out there. There's crazy guys, so I don't want to, make it, But this one, so he's not with her anymore, right?
No, because he had a restraining order.
Okay.
She was already pregnant. Like they were only dating. There was like 2 months they met. She's like 6 months pregnant.
So he's got a restraining order, yet she's somehow in his space constantly.
All right.
Like, how does that work? Like, I mean.
And he never calls the cops.
No, he doesn't.
He could just call the cops. I think he's scared of Baby D.
All right. So since you brought up Baby D.
Oh, dude, she's great.
Okay. So I looked her up on IMDb. Do you know what her name is on IMDb?
No.
The Lady of Rage.
No way.
Look it up right now. The Lady of Rage.
Oh my God, yeah. What the
That's
hell
her name. That's her name. So it takes like. So first of all, I mean, it fits her role in the movie, but that's her name in real life. So her birth certificate says Lady of Rage.
She was like a recurring character. She was on a lot of Steve Harvey episodes.
She was.
And then she disappeared.
Lady of Rage.
Jesus. But she was awesome.
Oh, she was great. She was great. And she was pretty fast. I mean, she always caught Epps a few times. So it's.
The way he describes her, man, you don't know Baby D like that. She knows the snacks before they even hit the market. She knows that because this movie was in 2000. She's like, she knows the 2000 snacks before even they come out. And he says like a bunch of them. It's like they just did like just spit a bunch of them out, and he was improv a bunch of them. But yeah,
well, he did try to tempt her with a cookie later on.
Dude, yeah, he gave her a PC, a pocket cookie, and said, "Don't they remind you of the ones in prison?" And she was eating it.
Yeah, well, why?
A stranger giving you a cookie.
Well, it's not really a stranger. She knows who he is. She's gone after him before.
But he could have poisoned it, and then he could have.
Oh, he could have. Yeah, but she's the Lady of Rage. I don't think she's really scared of poison. I think we skipped over this, but so he lives in the town of Rancho Cucamonga. Is that a real place?
Cucamonga. Yeah.
That is?
Yeah, that's where the guys from Workaholics live in the show.
Okay, but it's in the show. But that's a real place.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know.
Well, it just sounds so ridiculous. I've never heard of it, but I just thought it was like a ridiculous sounding name.
No, it's real.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Yeah, and since we're talking about that, we could skip around. It doesn't matter because I think it's right around now. But Michael Rappaport's cameo.
Yes, he is. I'm not a big fan of his.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think and Michael Rappaport, if you're listening, no offense, but I put him on the same level as Giovanni Ribisi. They both play the same kind of role in everything they do.
Yeah.
Although I think in this role, it was a little different than what he normally plays. He just played like a really white guy. Like, he was a delivery guy? Like he delivered the letter?
No, it's funny. I've seen that movie a million times. I've seen this movie so much. And I always thought he was just a mailman.
Yeah.
He was a server. That's why he was like talking to him like that. And he was like, here's some papers. You guys owe $3,900 in tax.
Oh, I thought he was the mailman.
That's what I thought too. But just the way he turned, he was like, oh, I got you.
Yeah.
What are you, some kind of football player? And he's like, I don't want no problems, partner.
Just very white, like
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that was.
He's like, yeah, I play for the Rancho Cucamonga Cracker Killers. That's what Ice Cube said back to him. So we find out one of the plot lines in the movie is Craig's uncle, they have to pay $3,900 or the house can be auctioned off. And Craig goes to try to tell his uncle. And now let's talk about the creepy sex dungeon, which he calls Mr. Nasty Time.
Well, was this is before, this is after they got high together.
Yeah, they got high and he basically, I thought he was dying.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought he did. Right. So yeah, see, he almost passed out.
Yeah.
Like, he did kind of pass out, but then he was still alive. But then Ice Cube almost passed out.
Yeah, they all passed out.
They all passed out. Okay. But then at the end, she passed out in his lap.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, you got your hand in my cookie jar? But yeah, the dungeon, when he goes up there and videos of her dressed in like red leather playing on like an old like pull down screen from like in school. And then he unplugs it, it snaps up, and there's just a wall full of dildos.
Oh, that was weird. I mean, there's also a gift moment later on.
Yes.
But that was the first time he went to the dungeon, right?
Yeah.
Because they were sleeping on the waterbed, and then they both molest them when he falls off.
And you know what's crazy? Time-wise. So they went upstairs because he's like, let's have Mr. Nasty Time. And she was like, don't worry, we'll be down in a minute. So he is really high. He sees, which we didn't really mention her, but Joker's sister that he was into, she like was in the room like he was having like a fantasy, a daydream. She's dancing for him and doorbell rings. That's when Michael Rappaport comes. And then he goes upstairs right away. What was it, 5 minutes? She was the not Jack A, is upstairs with Uncle Elroy. They're passed out from already having sex. They were able to plug in the projector, all of that. And she changed into all leather.
Yep.
In 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Well, when you're good at it,
Is that good?
Well, it's creepy. I don't know if it's good, but she did say it's only going to take 1 minute. So they're obviously used to that. I mean, that whole room was 50 Shades of Grey to the 10th level. I mean, yeah. I mean, since we're around the room, I mean, the second time he goes in there, the uncle's ball gagged, Gimp style, and then Jackie's not Jack A, is tied or handcuffed to the wall facing the other way. I mean, like, and the uncle's holding a whip that he ends up hitting his son with. How gross is that?
That is really gross because it's probably has a lot of fluid on it.
Well, you know what? We totally skipped over this. But remember when he shows Ice Cube?
I know.
Yes. And then he showed him, I guess, the used condom.
Yeah.
And then he taps Ice Cube on his chest, and he leaves like a wet mark. Ice Cube's trying to get off.
What's even creepier is he turns the condom upside down that he pulls out of the jacuzzi. Oh. It drips out. He shakes it a little bit, puts it in his pocket. Is he saving that?
He is. Yeah, the uncle's really weird. I mean, not for nothing. Both brothers. I mean, between the crapping all the time and then the sexaholics, they're definitely a weird family.
That'd have been a hell of a prequel. Them as kids.
That'd be awesome.
Or as teenagers. Do you remember why he didn't have the pool filled?
I do remember.
They didn't have no. He just says like, because Ice Cube's like, man, you got a nice pool. He's like, you ain't no pools in the ghetto, so that's why, because we can't swim. And there was just like lawn chairs thrown.
I was going to say there's lawn chairs in there. It did look like a nice pool.
Oh, yeah, but the hot tub he was able to use. And Craig's response, because he was so creeped out, he was like, oh, yeah, I can't swim. He's like, good, I don't have to worry about – what did he say? I don't have to worry about your juices or something creepy.
Well, he said you could use the hot tub, I guess. And he figured bring a girl back. Yeah, he goes, yeah, something like that. He goes, yeah, I'm going to have to clean up after you or something. Oh.
All right, so the next thing I had that it looks like we didn't talk about yet was Day Day goes to work. at Pinky's record store. He calls his white slave, Roach. And Craig doesn't go with him right away because Craig's getting high. And then he ends up walking there, and we're introduced after they get high together, everyone.
Do you know that kid? You know who Roach is?
No.
He's not a big actor. He was in one very controversial film.
He was in Kids, right?
He played Casper.
He died.
In real life?
Yeah, because I remember hearing it like after next Friday. I feel like he overdosed or something.
I'm sure he played a druggie in that movie. And it's all about skateboarding. So they must have needed someone that skateboard skills because he was skateboarding in the store.
And he fell. I don't know if he was really that good.
Yeah.
But no, so then Craig goes there. He tells Day about the $3,900.
Yep.
He looks in his – this is funny if somebody watches it now, like a young kid. They're like, what's a checkbook? Because he looks in his checkbook. He's like, I got like $247.
Nobody today has a checkbook. I mean, and I deal with like new grads all the time. They all do everything online. So yeah. And the fact that his checkbook is sitting on top of the shelf though, like it wasn't even in a pocket. Like he just goes in the back room and has it there. But yeah, and this is where we meet Pinky, I guess.
Oh, dude.
Now, when he walks out, you don't see his face. I go to my son because he watched it with me, and I go, "Is that Snoop Dogg?" Because he sounded like Snoop Dogg when he got out of the. That would have been amazing if that was he could. Because Snoop Dogg could have played that role, But this part was great. This part was
Pinky, the guy. I reached out to him, and he was like in the middle of filming something. But dude,
was he in anything else? Like, what was he?
If you look him up, he's in a bunch of stuff. But no, you know who he kind of reminds me of, like an Eddie Murphy character. Like the 80s, like that could have been Eddie Murphy, like
Sexual Chocolate, or like in what movie? The Come to America. He could have been one of those characters in Come to America. Yeah,
definitely. So I love him. I love when he has Craig because Craig's looking for the bathroom, puts the gun to his head. And I love the best part about him, and this is like one of the lines that me and like my buddies would quote after we saw this movie. When he would just say what? He was so angry. He was asking them questions. Craig answered, and he'd be pissed off that he answered it.
That was a very funny scene. And it might have done it about 10 times. Yeah. He asked him a question constantly, and he kept getting mad for answering. That was a great...
He would start stomping the ground, waving the gun. And I love that. So they're all really stoned. They got really high. Craig brought a joint with them. So Day and Roach are in the back. During this, they keep cutting back and forth. Do you remember some of the stories he was telling? And maybe this is perfect because you mentioned how Willie has bathroom problems, right?
Yep.
So when Craig was a kid, he's telling stories.
Oh, yeah, about Craig in the bathroom.
The first was Craig, man, he used to poop in church. Yeah. And the other one was like, he was pooping in the pool one time. I was swimming. And I thought it was an outrageous bar, and it hit me in the face.
Yeah. Well, I thought of meatballs right away when I heard that. I'm like, and then he kept saying, wow, he's still in the bathroom? Like, they kept going on. They thought he was in the bathroom the whole time as he's fighting Pinky.
I love when he has the gun. So Craig fights him. He throws him against, like, the records. He drops his gun. He gets it. He has it pointed to him. Pinky says, don't shoot me. I got kids. I got girlfriends and a wife on the side.
And there's a wife on the side.
Yeah, he was so great, man. I love Pinky. That's such a great character.
He was. And, and then when he realized everything and he kicked everybody out and he fired everybody, he was acting all tough again. And then the minute they left, he goes, what did he said something like, oh, he really scared me, but I held my own or something like that. Like, I forget what he said. Oh, man.
Dude, he was so awesome. I hope he comes back. I feel like I might have asked Tiny if he was coming back because, man, he is such a good character.
You know what? I think they will. I think because this is going to be like a reunion kind of movie. And I think they're going to bring back, well, Bernie Mac probably won't come back, right? Because he was in the first one.
Oh, yeah. He was the neighbor.
Like the pastor or whatever. Like they're walking around, but he won't come back.
He was the pastor that was sleeping with the lady that was married to the midget.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing also.
The midget's throwing all the clothes
But he's running around and chasing. But one line that I don't think we're there, almost there yet, but I wrote it down and it had to do with Debo. When they called, so it's probably around the same time where they might have already called.
Oh, when he was at the burrito stand?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So to call him, that he kept slapping the guy that
Tyrone, yeah.
Right. And after he slapped him one last time and he walked away, Tyrone goes, "You keep slapping me, I'm gonna slap you back and knock your eye straight."
I know that's tough because he really has an eye.
But I was laughing. I couldn't believe he said that. So I was like, what?
That part's really good too. And that happened a little while back because they need to find out where Craig is.
Yep.
So they follow him. I don't know how they followed him. I guess they know what burger place he goes to maybe in town. He's like, call, say Craig's in trouble. But when he comes out of the bathroom there from pooping, dude, whenever, first of all, the two women that chose to sit right next to the bathroom, that's kind of on them. But when they all look at him, make a face, and he's like, "What? Jealous?" And then he's eating. He gets the burrito, so he gets the call. So he's like, "Let me hop in." Debo and Tyrone let the dogs out. They hop in the back. And another line that my buddies and I would quote, and I don't know why, but when he's singing about, "I got hot sauce on my burrito, baby," and it's like, dude, you have stomach problems. Why are you eating hot sauce?
And now it's all coming together. He probably eats a lot of. Well, doesn't he? Or is it in the first movie? Didn't he carry hot sauce around him, or is that a stereotype?
No, no.
Oh, he does. Okay.
He carries it around.
Yeah,
that's like his thing. He loves.
Yeah. So I mean, now you wonder why he's in the bathroom all the time, and so. And yeah.
No, I was gonna say the next part I have written down. That's why it was funny. There's a lot of poop in this movie because it's right after the Pinky scene.
Yep.
John Witherspoon has to poop so bad because of that, and he shows up at the gas station. And here's one of the stereotypes you were talking about.
Oh, Sabu.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly, I mean, you saw the Chinese woman before, and I'm like, all right, I'm not thinking twice about it. You see the Spanish guy, I'm like, all right. And then when he says Sabu, and I was like, oh my God. And then, they even make fun of Indians later on. The Joker does. But he goes, what do I have? But yeah, when he called him Sabu, what do you say? I like your movies or something like that? Or because wasn't Sabu, wasn't he like an Annie or something? Or
I think so. But then I love when he goes, "Hey, I just want to use your bathroom. I don't want to fly no magic carpet." And then when he goes, then when he busts into, he basically opens the door. Sure, there's another Indian guy that's in there. He goes, "I don't want to buy a rug. I just want to use your bathroom." And then when he grabs it, he has a hubcap. And then you have the guy that was in the first one that had
the nerdy guy. Yeah. Yep.
The guy they rob his house, but he doesn't even know they rob him.
No. Well, yeah. In the first one, he's like, "Just stay off my lawn."
Yeah,
because he had a nice lawn, so that's what he was worried about.
"Hey, Willie, I would not go in there for about 45 minutes." He's like, "Get the fuck out of my way." Yeah, the bathroom problems are. But you know what's crazy? So this movie's like an hour and a half long. We're an hour in, and we're at the third act.
Yeah,
the movie's like pretty much the last scene, and about an hour in.
Yep.
So they figure out, Craig's like, "You know what? Light bulb goes off. Here's how we get the money. We're going to rob Joker's house."
Well, he thinks, I guess, because he's from the hood. He knows there's something shady going on. Epps was not even thinking about it, and he's like, there's definitely something, because they see him carrying this urn or something, and they don't know what's in it. He's assuming it's money, right? Yeah. So, and now at this time though, Roach is still with him.
Yeah.
So he's tagging along. So yeah, decided, and Epps wants nothing to do with it because he's scared. The whole movie, he's like, he whines and cries the whole movie. Movie. But I guess they had to show you the extremes of living in the hood and not living in the hood, like how like living in the burbs changes you, because he's like, he wouldn't last 2 seconds in the hood, even though when you first meet him, he's wearing that hat.
I know. So when we go in, they show inside Joker's house. You got Joker, baby Joker, and little Joker. And it's funny, you reached out to a bunch of actresses because we're doing these interviews that I'm going to start releasing on Mondays, coming up soon. But one, her name's Carmen Serrano. She actually plays girl number one in Joker's house. She's like, it was like her first movie ever. And then she's been on other stuff. She was on Prison Break and Breaking Bad. So she's been in a lot of stuff. So It's pretty funny to see her. And that was 20 years ago. And like you said it before, Joker's a great part of this movie.
He really is. He to me, he makes the movie. This part, he was so typical of what a Spanish gang member, the way he talked. But he had these one-liners constantly that were very funny.
Some that didn't go. So it's almost so here I wrote some down. "I don't like locked doors. Pass the wire. I don't want grilled cheese. Leroy, I'm bilingual. There's a difference." So it seems like he was raped in prison. We're not even joking. And he has a girl. He's holding a girl this whole time, getting ready to go sleep with her.
Well, he was also having her talk through her butt at one point. He was shaking her butt. You remember?
Yes.
But I think he was, because I think he might enjoy both teams, because one, I think he does something with the dog. Because
the dog came on him.
Right. So,
No,
okay,
it was humping his leg.
right. And but I think he does something because he mentioned something like, and he tried to bypass it. But then at the end, when they're like tying him up, he's like, he starts talking about like, what we're going to do. He's cute. So I think, or maybe he just has, some flashbacks and it just, it kicks in. But I think he plays both teams.
That banana hammock that he's wearing, I'm thinking about getting that maybe for one special night. It's like a little tuxedo, and he says, "I'm an Aztec warrior. I'm an Aztec warrior."
Was he in anything? Because I think he was great. I mean, like he looked familiar. He reminded me of some comedian. I can't remember his name, but I don't know if he was in anything. But he just looked familiar.
Oh no! But like you said, his lines, and they would just come out of nowhere.
Yep.
But again, like the one that I just met, that I said, none of those things seem like they go with each other. And then he's like, Leroy on bilingual, and you're like, something happened with him.
Well, I wonder if a lot of it was improv. I wonder if he kept throwing out lines himself. I bet you. Oh,
dude, he's in a lot, and he's actually in a show I just watched. Dude, I can't believe that's him. So Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian.
Yeah.
Fluffy. He has a show on Netflix, and man, it's so funny. As soon as I saw that, he's a teacher, and one of his friends that are teachers is Joker. He's a lot of stuff, dude. When you look at you're gonna be blown away.
Then I can see that because again, just the lines he says, and just the way he says it, Holmes. Like he says Holmes all the time. It's just very funny. So I think he
was in his first movie, one of his first movies ever. Ernest Goes to Camp. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna have to
reach out to him?
Next round. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to reach out to him.
You know what? I just remember this line right here. It goes, "Count my money or party with the bitches."
Yeah.
150s or big ass titties. Count the green or get the in between.
And then he's like, "Let's party, Holmes." Dude, that's such a great line. I love that.
Yeah, he was great.
So then Craig goes into the girls' room. And he like tries to play it off like, "Hey, I'm here for you. I snuck in here to show you I'm not scared of your brothers." And then one of the brothers, little Joker, comes in.
He runs and hides.
Yeah, he runs and hides. So then they have like a little kiss scene, which is kind of like short. And then he disappears. And then she's like, "Hit my pager up sometime." Which again, how old this movie is. Pagers are still a thing. So then Day Day and Roach are like, "Hey, how the hell are we going to get him out?" So he goes, "Let's knock on the door." "Hey, what's up?" And they have the AK-47 pointed out. Yep. It's like, "Yeah, we just want to borrow some sugar." And then right away they do the side shot. They get pulled right into the house.
And then like, to go in, he goes, he said he knows a lot of the black people have sugar in the house. So he knew that was a lie. Yeah. But I want to know how at one point he looked like they were going to let them go because, he says, "All right, if this all works out, we'll let you go." But how do you know money was missing? Because the money was still there. I know
they didn't show him look. Yeah, no, that made no sense.
Because I thought what I was thinking was happening is the sister left, and I thought she took the money because the money, So, but they didn't explain that, so I wasn't too sure. But
I love how they were kind of hitting on the girls right in front of him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, ladies? I'm Day Day. This is my white slave Roach," and he's like basically right in front of him. "You gonna come in here and hit on my girls?" And he's like, "Man, I just wanted some sugar. I wanted to show my white slave Roach how to make Kool-Aid."
Well, how about when the sister comes down? He's like, "Listen, they had it play it off like they're all friends."
Yeah. God, that's so great. So exactly what you just said before. So you think that they're gonna save him, right? Or they're gonna be like, "Hey, you're fine," and then we don't know what happened. Then the girls leave. He's like, get these," and they're all pissed off. They're like stumbling out of the place. They're like yelling back at him. So then they said, pretty much would seem like they were gonna rape them. He said, "Now let's have a prison party." And he goes, "Yo, grab my duct tape." Yeah. And they said it's already out.
He goes, "It's in my bedroom."
Yeah. Oh God. And then Craig goes back to, Uncle Elroy's house, and Willie's already there. And then I love that because he finally notices he has shit on him.
Because you've been walking around with shit on your back all day.
So then they go to try to save them. Willie and Elroy take out Baby and Little Joker.
Well, let's break it down. So he goes back there, and Willie, first of all, the brother, what's his name, the uncle, he has a gun, but he only has 2 bullets.
Yeah.
And so Willie goes, "When I was younger, I just needed a stick." So he's walking around with like what 2x4.
Yeah.
So he takes out the first big guy with a 2x4.
Yeah.
Then the second guy comes out there, and he just tackles him on the ground. Right? Is that and then knocks him out from that way?
Yep.
Okay, and then he can't move anymore because I guess the disc in his back slipped. So pretty much the rest of like the time he's laying on his back the whole time. So to me though, Willie showed a lot in this part because he's the one that first of all took out the first guy. Now he's tying up the guy. He goes, I think he told his brother I should tie you up also or something like that or yeah. So those two took out these guys and then left what baby Joker? No, Joker.
Joker, yeah. And then he was like, each time one guy didn't come back, he was like, hey, where's you going? As soon as they come back here, I'm going to take care of you, Holmes. And then he goes outside and he says, what are you doing here, man? And Willie goes, not Willie, Elroy. Elroy is like, I live across the street. Wait, I'm old. This is my backyard. Oh, God. And then their fight is so funny. And I love how corny, like you said, his lines. So him and Craig's right behind him, punches him. Then they have like a little back and forth fight, which is it was pretty cool. But he goes, ding, ding, school's in, bitch.
Yeah, it was a good fight, but I mean, I feel like he struggled more with him than he did with Debo.
Oh, I know.
Like, this, I mean, maybe he was just scrappy. But yeah, they said they had a little fight, and then he gets up and he gets the gun again.
And we almost forgot about Debo. He wakes up, he kicks open the out of the dog truck, gets Tyrone out, and then he punches him. He grabs the gun.
Well, by the way, did you notice Debo's theme music when he was with the dog catcher? The theme music.
Oh, they did play it?
Yes,
Good.
they did. They played it lightly, but it was there.
That's awesome.
But I love how like you see him there with the gun, and all of a sudden out of the blue, you see his eyes Craig's eyes light up, and then you see Debo rise from the ground. Like, where was he? Because he stood behind Joker, like, but he was underground. Like he stood up behind him, like he rose. Like, what was he doing? Like he
came up from the basement.
Oh, okay. Right. I mean, it wasn't like he walked behind him. He was like rising up.
Yeah. And then he punches him, and then he has the AK-47. He has it pointed. And again, this is one thing that did disappoint me about the movie, is I did want Rocky 2. I wanted them to fight again. And then the dog just comes out of nowhere, that dick dog that just chased everybody around the neighborhood, just bites his arm.
Well, we forgot that whole scene that the dog.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, the dog was a very vicious pit bull, right? I mean, like really vicious, and all it took was a couple of pot brownies, right? Was it brownies?
First bologna.
Bologna, but it was only like 6 slices. So yeah. I don't know what he was going with that. But then it was pot brownies, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't chocolate bad for dogs?
I know. I thought, yeah. They could have done it a different way, but no, that's true.
Okay. So the dog fell asleep because it was high. And all it took was pot brownies to make him a friendly dog. And now it's Casper's dog. Or Casper. Yeah.
Roach. Is that racist?
Well, his name was Casper in the other movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you thought I was calling the dog Casper?
No, I think you were calling the white guy Casper, so like that's kind of racist.
No, but that was his name in the other movie.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, and Kids.
Oh, okay, good. So the cops show up finally. I don't know who called the cops. Oh,
the new mom or the aunt or the creepy lady.
She said, if you're not back in 5 minutes. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Right.
So then Craig's smart. He jumps inside. He grabs the urn with the money, walks out, and
before as he's doing that, don't forget the Willie and the uncle also. Did you pay your parking tickets? He goes, no. And what did he say to
he's like, you still got the illegal cable boxes?
Yeah. He goes, let's get out of here.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. And again, wait, this was stupid. If he didn't pay his parking tickets, his car's still there. All he did was go in the house. So then he has all the money, and the uncle's terrible with money.
Yeah.
Because again, he's still paying this Asian lady step on his back, just like what's happening on the TV. George Jefferson just happens to be playing at the same time. So there's no DVR. Was there DVR back then? Oh, there might have been TiVo, right? 2000?
Maybe.
Or it could have been on VHS.
It was probably VHS because the quality wasn't that good. So it's probably VHS.
He's like, yeah, George Jefferson had it right. And the old white guy stepping on George Jefferson's back. And then the aunt, when they're leaving, he has, Subway's kind of crazy. I got to go back to Compton. Or no, South Central.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
South Central, yeah.
With it, and then she wants to kiss him goodbye.
Oh, yeah.
Craig, just give your aunt a kiss. Was that the scene?
Yeah.
And she basically again molests him again, pretty much. She's all over him. And then he had to wrestle his way out of there.
I think that again, Willie needs to go to a gas doctor, a proctologist, and he needs to go. Elroy and his new wife or whatever she is, they need to go to some marriage counseling.
They do.
They have that sex dungeon, and that doesn't satisfy her. She needs to sleep with his nephew.
Yeah, I mean they're a weird couple. So I mean they all have issues. But then doesn't Epps want to go to the hood with him? And he's like, no. Like he said, he made some kind of point. Like he would definitely not survive there.
All I know is Baby D needs to be in Last Friday because the last shot of the movie is Craig with the voiceover that I mentioned before. He's like, man, suburbs are crazy. So I can't wait to get back to the hood. And then he gets in the car, they're driving away, and she throws a brick through the back window, and that was it. That was the end of the movie.
So I'm going to assume that she's going to be in it. I
hope so.
Because she was a pretty big part. I'm trying to. It's not even posted yet, right? Friday? I don't think it's up there yet.
Last Friday? Yeah, no, I don't think it's on their IMDb's yet, but said they're going to start filming next month now. So
that's awesome. That's gonna
yes. So that's next Friday. So I know you said in the beginning that you liked it. You liked the first one better, but would you tell people to, hey, take time, watch this movie?
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it was good. It was, it's definitely entertaining. It's funny. You have to go into it knowing that it's a sequel, and a lot of sequels don't hold up to the first one. I do think the first one is much funnier. But this has its moments, and this one has its characters, and it is still good. It's definitely worth the watch.
I would say overall, the first one's a better movie. It's really funny, but I like this movie because just the different funny characters. Like Joker's funny, Willie's pretty funny. He has a bigger part in it. The Asian lady. There's just a lot of different funny. And even, dude, Mike Epps, just how corny he is. Man, they're 20s. They ain't 20s. They 10s. But I keep them real nice.
And they say that joke twice, I think, in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is, though? What I like about Friday is the original one. It takes place in the hood. It's like a comedy, boys in the hood. So when you have the next Friday, it's not the hood anymore, but it's like, and he's the only one from the hood. So it's like it doesn't play off all the other ones. So, I like the first one better. But again, this is definitely entertaining. And the fact that they bring Debo back in a role that I think is a perfect way to bring him back.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably the only way you could have brought Debo back.
Yeah. And I think it's cool. Like we talk about sequels a lot, and because obviously that's what we're doing. And a lot of things that ruin sequels is when the second movie is like, okay, let's just do the first movie and add a character. So it is cool that they did something different, or had the, Ice Cube, when he wrote it, had the balls to do something different. Like, hey, let's put in the suburbs to introduce the cousin, because obviously they, Chris Tucker, they wrote him off right in the beginning. Like,
he went to rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks. I get it, why he wasn't in it. I'm sure it was his choice.
At the end of the first one, he told Debo, or was it Debo, or he told someone he's done. Oh no, he told Worm, or he was saying something that I'm done smoking. I'm going to rehab.
Oh, okay.
And then he smoked a joint. So I mean, but they didn't mention it in the first movie that he was going to do that.
Oh, okay. I just think because this is like Rush Hour 2, so he's probably filming those.
I'm sure. I mean, but you know what? Like I said, Epps did a great job. Joker did a great job. It was good. It was very entertaining.
Yeah. No, it was really good. Again, now going back to what we like to do is like, what could make it better? And the only thing that I have, honestly, is I just wanted Craig and Debo to actually fight. Like, to have more of a thing. Like, not have the dog be the hero.
Yes, but then it goes back to what you were saying before. It goes back to the same first movie. Like, and then what is Craig going to beat him up again? Like, so I think that, I don't know if that would have made a difference. I don't know. I don't know if they could have done much more, just because they had to make it a separate movie from the first one.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I almost like more of Joker. I think he, to me, like, maybe a little bit more interaction, because he really was only like in the beginning a little bit, and then at the end, like there was not much in the middle. Yeah. I think he was great, but yeah, I think if they fought again, how would it end? How would the fight end?
Rocky 2. It could have been maybe Debo's about to like pummel him. Willie with like a 2x4, he punches him.
Well, you know what could have happened? Maybe have Epps like do the final punch or something like that, because he's been such a wimp the whole movie. Let him get that one punch in or something, you know.
That'd been good.
Yeah. Or they could do like a Revenge of the Nerds Miami and make Debo a good guy. Like Ogre became a nerd.
God, who thought of that idea? But Robert Carradine, if you're listening, I still am waiting for you to get back to me.
Let's. He did get back to us once before, so it's not like it's the first time, right? He did.
No, once before, yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
But no, hopefully. But yeah, so that's next Friday. You got to check it out. You can find it anywhere. Next week, we have an interview with Richard Norton, who is really good friends with Chuck Norris. He's a martial artist who came over. I'm not going to spoil who he was bodyguards for, but some really, really big classic rock bands and solo artists. So you're going to want to check him out. And the movie that we're covering with him, I don't think that people know it existed. It's Roadhouse 2. I don't know. I didn't even know it existed until I stumbled across it.
Yeah, I knew they were planning on making another one with Ronda Rousey, but that never came in, and so I never knew there was a second one. So I'm excited to watch that one because this is gonna be a first timer.
Yeah, I just watched a couple parts to see Richard Norton's parts when we talked. But one of the most interesting guy. Now he's like a fight coordinator for like Mad Max. He did a couple Marvel movies. Right now he's working on Suicide Squad 2. He worked on the first one.
Part of the attraction of someone like Bob and I and myself when I went to the States was the fact that we're martial artists and, we get into giving the bands workouts. With James Taylor, I was with James Taylor and Linda Ronstadt for 14 years, toured with ABBA. And I basically daily, I'd introduce them the idea, listen, if you're interested in a bit of stretching and a bit of conditioning while you're on the road, happy to do it. And a lot of them just jumped at that. Some didn't, but a lot did. Like with ABBA, I was training the girls just about every day we had a chance, whether in the room or on a beach or whatever, or poolside. I was even 4 o'clock in the morning teaching Mick Jagger karate punches.
So yeah, I think you folks are really going to enjoy that interview. And hey, don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast, tell your friends. Go back. If this is the first time you're stumbling across us, go back. Listen to some great reviews. We reviewed Caddyshack 2, Son of the Mask, Paul Blart 2, all sequels. That's what we talk about. And the interviews have been great. William Sadler, who played Death in Bogus Journey. Tim Lawrence, who worked on Caddyshack 2 as the gopher, the puppeteer for it. And dude, that guy worked on every 80s movie that you love. So check it out. Follow us, subscribe, Twitter, Instagram, both at Sequels Only. Good night.
Good night.